ICE prosecutor, John Gihon, if maybe this is the thing that we should be doing and not necessarily going back and forth on orders that will be dragged through courts, etc. John, good to have you. Is that what's at play here? Because it's definitely picked up.
Neil, thanks for having me on today. What the president is doing in these enforcement actions is simply enforcing the existing immigration laws. He doesn't need to issue new executive orders that create controversy and create problems in federal courts in order to be able to protect the United States through enforcing the existing immigration laws. And what he's doing this week is actually not much of what he's doing at all. These were enforcement actions that were already planned long before President Trump took office. And so this isn't his action, and these aren't his draconian raids. These are simple enforcement actions that go on all the time under every president.
But, you know, some presidents are more aggressive with this stuff than others, and they go in spurts, I understand. But this is dramatically picked up. And do we know whether there is a link between the rejection or the appeal and the successful appeal of that of the president's order? Is there a link there?
No, Neil, I don't think there is a link at all. Again, these enforcement actions, they're planned months in advance. I used to be one of the attorney advisors who would be in the room with the ICE agents vetting the targets that we would go after during
how
these
do you select
enforcement
those
actions.
targets, John? That's interesting.
You select them by people who are dangerous to the community, first of all, aggravated felons, violent criminal histories, people who have re-entered the United States multiple times after being deported. And that's who you target. You don't target good, hard-working immigrants who happen to be in the country working and doing what they're supposed to be doing, raising families who aren't a danger. Those aren't the people we need to be sending our ICE officers out to round up.
Do you target sanctuary cities?
No, I don't think you target or not target sanctuary cities. These types of raids don't really play into the sanctuary city narrative because these enforcement actions don't go to the jails and pick people up. The jails and the detainers happen on a daily basis. These are targeted enforcement actions that go after certain groups of immigrants who have presented a danger to the community or violated immigration laws in a severe fashion.
You know, John, I have you here. You touched on it with the president's executive order that became this whole separate soap opera. Do you think he would have been in the legal pickle he ultimately found himself in if he had slowed it down at the beginning, made a clear carve-out for those with green cards, alerted airport personnel? I guess that was the thing, they didn't know what was coming. I know the danger of that is that everybody's in on this, including the bad guys, but could that have avoided the mess that this became?
Yes, without a doubt. If the president had slowed this down, rolled this out in a fashion where everybody on the ground at the airports, the ICE attorneys, the ICE agents knew exactly what was going to go on. Customs and Border Protection knew this was coming in advance. They had clear guidance on who was to be targeted and who wasn't. They could have avoided that entire fiasco from a couple weekends ago that was terribly, as far as the optics were concerned for the president. That looked awful, what was going on at the airports. They were detaining United States citizens, they were detaining lawful permanent residents. They were not enforcing immigration law the way it's supposed to be enforced, and they could have done it much, much better.
John, thank you very much. John Gihon, former ICE prosecutor. Good having you. All right.